Now hitting number 2 for your Houston Astros, Yordan Alvarez. That's right. Joe Espada said he wants Yordan hitting second. And opening day, Justin Verlander might not be ready. Wow, so much to talk about. Hunter Brown looked great on the mound today. Hit that intro, Eric. Let's go.
Buenos días, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Go ahead and search for us. We are there. Go ahead and just make us part of your everyday routine. And we do appreciate all those everydayers out there. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel makes make every moment more. New customers join today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets. If your first bet of $5 or more wins, visit fanduel.com/lockedon to get started today. My name is Eric Huysman, and of course, as always, we have Brett Chancey. Unmute yourself.
All right. Thank you, Eric. You can find me. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me at X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. And Eric, I'm excited about today's show. Today's show, we're going to talk about Yordan Alvarez batting second. We're going to show everybody. I did put Htown's batting order. I didn't go back and edit it, but it also includes Eric's batting order because we are a dynamic duo. So it is on there, but I did make the graphic for you. So
Okay.
I got you there, buddy. Joey Loperfido looked great. He talked to Julia Morales. I wanted to mention a little bit about that. Hunter Brown's outing. Also, Justin Verlander, we got some thoughts from him. Don't know if he's going to make the opening day start. And then I put up the schedule for this week, and only one of the next 3 games is actually going to be televised, but I believe all 3 will be on the radio. So, Eric, let's talk about this. Yordan Alvarez, not hitting 4th, not hitting 5th, not hitting 3rd, hitting 2nd in the lineup. What do you think?
Well, this is something that I know that Dusty Baker was a little bit opposed to. He's kind of old school guy. You put the best hitter batting 4th or 3rd in the lineup. And that's what we used to do with Jeff Bagwell. That's what we've seen with Lance Berkman over the years. We've seen this throughout history. But as baseball goes more analytical, you see more teams go away from that. I mean, we have a lot of teams like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Corey Seager. These are all some of the best players in baseball, and they have always batted second. And so if you look around baseball, the second spot in the order is the most productive in baseball. And it was kind of a rotating just spot last year for whoever was Dusty Baker decided. It was either Jeremy Pena, Michael Brantley when he came back, or just whoever he thought would advance batters. But what this does is this in no means is Alvarez a leadoff hitter. But This is a way to get him more at bats, and that is the whole sole purpose for this situation. Is you want to get that extra. It's probably not a lot. It may be only like 30 to 50 at bats extra per year. But just think about that. If that's 30 to 50 more at bats per year, how many more home runs is he going to hit? How many more runs is he going to drive in a situation? So yes, you typically want that guy hitting cleanup or something to drive in the runners. But with his on-base skills, everything, let's go T-ball, coach, and let's put all the top guys in the top 4 and just go destroy the world. Let's go do it.
I mean, you might see a lot of 2-0 leads coming out of the first inning. You know, Eric, one of the biggest deficiencies of this offense was not that the offense was deficient, but at home they failed to score early. And I think if you put your top hitters at the top of the lineup and keep them in that order, I mean, we've got Garrett Cole opening day. Garrett Cole, the reigning Cy Young winner for the American League. Garrett Cole, who really has earned his stripes. Not, no pun intended with the Yankees pinstripes, but absolutely you're going to have aces on the mound, people coming after the Astros. And I know a lot of people are saying they would rather Bregman because he has an higher OPS, but the highest on base percentage and the best person in a leadoff role in a Houston Astros uniform since Altuve's inception has been none other than Jose Altuve. And Eric, you bring up an excellent point because Dusty Baker toying with the lineup, we tried to downplay it a little bit last year because we were like, maybe it can't affect them that much. But Jeremy Pena, and this is what I think, and I'm going to show you all my order in a second because your order and my order are only off by 2 players and they're only flipped in one position. So we almost nailed each other's lineup exactly, except for the bottom 2 hitters. I'll reveal that in a second. Jeremy Pena needs a chance to bring that lineup back to the top. But if Jeremy Pena knows where he's hitting, he knows what his job is. If Yordan Alvarez knows where he's hitting, he knows what his job is, whether he's left field or DH, Eric. And I think that right there, Joe Espada's confidence, Joe Espada's assurability, and Joe Espada's willingness to take the bull by the horns and say, this is what we're going to do. I think these guys are more excited this year than they've been the last couple of years. And I think they're firing on all cylinders because they're all talking about getting back to the what?
The World Series. That's what the whole point of this is. And Joe Espada said that this is not set in stone. They want to see how the guys respond to this during spring training. So you're going to see actually Alvarez batting second. But he said, I want to see this 1-2 punch of Altuve and Alvarez. See what happens. We see other teams across baseball doing it. Why not us? And so I think that this is, he talked to Alvarez, and Alvarez was like, I'll do whatever is best for the team. Because you have to imagine he's used to, well, the second spot is supposed to be for somebody to advance a runner, but he's somebody to crush the ball, drive in the run. And that's what you see across baseball. So what this is this is more of a modern way of thinking. And the Astros just had that rotating way last year. So I think that we saw Pena with some success in 2022. He did not have the same swing last year. He didn't have the same lift, but he's working on that this year. We may see a whole different Pena, but I did in my lineup, I did drop him a lot. But I think that this might be the best move at the end. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be the best move because not only is it going to help the top 4, but I think Abreu is probably going to be hitting 5th. And I think him being situated, not in a cleanup spot or anything like that, having a set place for him where he's going to bat, I think will help him. And him doing Pilates, get in better shape and better flexibility.
So let's go ahead and do this real quick. So I'm going to throw up my lineup first, and this is what I have. I have Altuve, Alvarez, Bregman, Tucker, Abreu, Diaz, McCormick, Myers, Pena. I kind of wanted to put Dubon in there, but I know he's probably not. And I think because what we'll talk about later with Justin Verlander, Valdez is going to be the opening day starter. Now, here's Eric's lineup. Now, I have Pena in the second leadoff spot where he turns that lineup over and keeps it going. But you have it a little different. Altuve, Alvarez, Bregman, the same. Tucker, Abreu, Diaz, the same. McCormick, Pena 8th, and Myers 9th. See,
Myers got more speed. I think if you want the second leadoff guy, I know what you're going for.
Than Jeremy?
Jeremy does have some speed, and he does have a better on base percentage. But I think that he's a better hitter. So in my head, I would put him 8th just because I think that would be better position for him versus I think it would send a bad message to somebody like him. But I think if you put it to Jake Myers or Dubon, whoever's going to be playing center field, hey, we want you to get on base. You have Alvarez batting second. Get on base. They'll drive you in.
Right. But see, I think you can sell the same stuff to Pena. You're the second leadoff guy when we get to that 9 spot. So look, here's the deal. These guys are going to acquiesce to whatever Joe Espada puts forth to them.
Right.
Why? Because he is a leader of men, just like D'Amico Ryans, just like M.A. Udoka. I'm telling you, he's one of the best in the game. And I'm excited. Joe Espada, if he does what he's going to do, what he says, he very much could be manager of the year by the end of the season.
Yes, definitely. So we can argue all night about this, and I'm not saying Pena is not going to be good at the nine hole. It just depends on what Joe Espada does, and we'll hear some more about what Joe Espada has to say. We'll go ahead and talk about Justin Verlander opening day because we both did have Valdez there. We'll go ahead and talk a little bit about why we both have Valdez there in a second.
Yeah, that's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and that's right. New customers today get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's right. Go to FanDuel.com/locked on. Look, get buckets with your first bet at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because again, look, do I need to repeat it? Yes, I do. Because it goes without saying, $150 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet or more and it wins. 150. The math doesn't make sense, but FanDuel wants it to make sense for you because right now you can bet on your favorite NBA players like Nikolai Jokic. You can talk about you can bet on Amen Thompson, who is an animal on the court right now. Cam Whitmore, who is a bucket. Alperen Şengün. I mean, the list goes on and on. Quick bets, live, same game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit fanduel.com/locked on and shoot your shot. That's right. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check out Locked On Sports Today. It's streaming 24/7. It's got all the news you need to know. And now it's going to be on Amazon Fire TV. Isn't that pretty awesome? You can watch us on a Fire Stick. I know a lot of y'all stream us anyway, but now it's going to be on Fire TV channels. So Locked On Sports Today. Once the season gets going, I think they're having one MLB show every day on there for now. So guys, check out Locked On Sports Today, and we can't wait till talk Astros baseball with you all season.
Yeah, Eric, I'm excited. Real quick before we launch into Justin Verlander, I was listening to Joey Loperfido. They were split squad today, but what a studly lineup they had in there today. They had a lot of the up and coming guys that are position players play today. They had a lot of their big dogs played. They did lose 3-0, but Loperfido had 2 hits. And this kid, left-handed bat, he hit a couple singles, but he's got power. He's a good outfielder. I really think, Eric, there's a real possibility that we see Loperfido at some point in an Astros uniform at Minute Maid Park. Now, I'm not saying I want someone to get injured. I'm not saying I want someone to get DFA'd or traded, but I think out of all the guys in AAA position-wise, Loperfido is probably the closest to get that opportunity. But let's talk about Justin Verlander. I mean, unless you want to say something about Loperfido, and then let's kind of hit on this Justin Verlander thing. 'Cause I'm a little confused what's going on.
No, Loperfido, like I think the future is bright for him, and it's going to take injury at this point because the lineup or inconsistency. Let's say Jake Myers doesn't really fit, or there's something happen. So I think the Astros are going to wait on him, but I think you can see him up as early as September or maybe next season. So definitely somebody to look out for. But Justin Verlander, he is not overly concerned, but he is not gonna. He's not ready to call it. He's not ready to make any declarations at this moment, but he's probably not going to be ready for opening day. He's coming along nicely. He's not throwing any breaking pitches yet. We still got about a month until opening day. So he still has plenty of time, but this is a good thing, Brett. This is a very good thing. I'll let you say something, then I'll go ahead and tell you why it's a good thing.
Well, Justin Verlander just said, I guess everything's kind of going the way that I would like it, but obviously I'm trying to stay out of my own way a little bit, not try to overdo things, really listen to the trainers and the guys who are there to pull the reins a little bit. Eric, I want to be concerned. I want to kind of freak out a little bit because, as fans, sometimes we like to have an excuse to freak out, right? But Justin Verlander, of all people in Major League Baseball, understands, and I hear him say it multiple times, My body doesn't respond at 40 and 41 the way it did when I was 25 or 30.
Right.
So he understands that. That gives me comfort. But tell me, Eric, why should we not be worried?
Well, we saw this last year. He got to a late start to the season, and then he got a chance to kind of get his warm-ups in with the Mets before he was traded over to the Astros. And then he pitched pretty well during the season, and he had that kind of fire going into the playoffs. So I think that him saving some innings because he is older guy at this point, but also Framber Valdez, a lot was made. I don't know if a lot was made about it, but you and I have talked about it, about he may not have been happy about the trade to get Justin Verlander because he was the ace. He was the captain now. And now you bring in Justin Verlander, take away his opening day start. But now he's probably going to be opening day starter. And this may give him the confidence to say, oh, I'm the ace again. I'm the one that's in control. And Justin Verlander may miss the first month. So this is Framber Valdez's time to shine. And if there's any reason for him to do that, it's this year. And so I don't think that the Justin Verlander trade had anything to do with Valdez outside of they needed another arm. And Valdez did have a bad second half.
Well, I personally believe it's like, I don't know. I think I said this at nauseum. Just to repeat myself, I do believe that last year, him coming back to the Astros shook him a little bit mentally because he was the ace. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because these guys are egocentric people. If you're a professional at anything, you play at the highest level of anything, you've got to have a little bit of egocentrism to make it in that world. It's called confidence. Some people call it arrogance. Some people call it being too cocky. Remember, Framber Valdez is La Grasa. Now, La Grasa worked his tail off, and he came back in better shape than he's been in a long time. You know who else came back in better shape? Christian Javier. So I'm excited about Valdez possibly getting the opening day start, especially against the Yankees, because this is an opponent where everybody's picking the Yankees to do a lot better than they've done the last couple of years. And they've got every reason to believe that with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo, this dude came into camp looking like he was 24 again. I mean, so there's a lot of players this year, Eric, that have taken their off-season routine seriously.
Right.
And I think this year's going to be a lot more competitive.
Yeah.
Let's wrap that up because here pretty soon I definitely want to talk about Hunter Brown today because I was excited what I saw out of him.
Right. So it's cause and effect. I think like somebody brought up, it wasn't after the trade where Valdez started struggling. It was before the trade, and we know this. And I think that because of the trade, the Astros felt the necessity to. Because Valdez was struggling, the Astros felt the necessity to make that trade. And so, but Verlander said that I started spinning some on flat ground a few days ago. So now I kind of need to, in case I started getting to games soon or start facing batters. I want to be able to throw the slider because I don't have time to say I'm going to start messing with it in games. So he has literally not thrown any breaking balls off the mound. So he is taking it slow, and he knows that it's what do you always say? It's a race, but it's not. It's just take it slow.
It's a marathon. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So yeah,
Right.
you can't put the cart before the horse. And Goat is asking. I don't know if this is the Goat, like greatest of all time, or he just calls himself. Maybe a goat actually watches the show, which would be kind of cool. Crossover species to Locked On Goats. Anyways, so will Lance McCullers ever pitch again? Yes, he's actually ahead of schedule. Remember, he's at spring training. We told you, we teased you. But yes, actually, Lance McCullers is on schedule. Him and Luis Garcia are fully anticipated to come back in July, I would assume after the All-Star break, but we don't know what they're going to bring. We don't know what their arsenal is going to look like. That's why, Eric, I want to lead into here in a second. I want to talk about Hunter Brown and why it's important that Hunter Brown gets off to a really good start this year.
Yeah, and JP France is making some progress, but like Justin Verlander, he is behind, and that's why you've got to have all these parts, all these starters, just to be ready for the season because it's a long season, guys.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Millions of parts for your MVP. That's right. You win every time because you need passion, you need drive, and you need patience. Well, what brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Much like La Grasa in the offseason, getting in shape, you can add superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Motor Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time or your money back. So because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, you're not burning cash. And in this economy, that's key. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your card into the MVP and bring home that win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us, but go and check out Locked On Sports Today. It's a great resource for all the sports news you need to know. And now it's on Amazon, Fire TV, and everything. So you can stream it. You don't have to stream it from your phone anymore. It's going to be on the TV already. So go ahead and check it out. Locked On Sports Today. All the news you need 24/7 on YouTube. So go and check it out. And hopefully Brett and I will be on there pretty soon.
Yeah, Eric. So I want to talk about Hunter Brown today because Hunter Brown talked about in a couple interviews and in some articles how last year he really got fatigued. Not only did he get fatigued in his first full major league season, but it affected his mechanics, and he didn't realize how much it affected his mechanics until he went back and watched the film. And knowing Hunter Brown, having conversations with him on the sidelines at games, he is a kid that prides himself on doing things with excellence, doing things the right way. And so as I was watching this 2 innings, 2 strikeout, 2 hit, no run outing, um, I want to say this. He looked really strong on the mound. When he was throwing the ball, like sometimes when the ball comes out of the hand of a pitcher early in spring training, it doesn't look like they're really putting a lot behind it. But man, the ball looked great coming out of his hand. I mean, it exploded out of his hand. It had the right kind of velocity. There was break on the curveball, which is excellent. His slider even actually looped around bats, Eric. And finding consistency for him is the key. And his start to this season is so important. So right now, he said that he's hoping to continue to hopefully, finish hitters off. And his big issue last year, Eric, was not that he threw fastballs, was that he wasn't throwing fastballs for strikes. And if he can set up the hitter in the count with fastball strikes, okay, then he can be more efficient, and then he can attack with this curve, his slider, he can attack with those other pitches. But his efficiency is going to rely 100% on that fastball, missing barrels in the strike zone. I think that Hunter Brown is going to have what we would call a bounce back year, even though it's only his second full season as a pro.
Yeah, he had a hard time adjusting to pitching so many innings. That was the first time he went over 100 and I think it was 40 or whatever it was. But I think that what you're going to see is the adjustment. The league kind of made the adjustment on him last year. So you're going to see him find out what works for him. And so you're going to see the rise or the fall of Hunter Brown this year. And so I think that spring training is going to be a good kind of gauge of where he's going to be at. The 2 shutout innings was great today. I know that there's 2 games today, but one thing I do want to kind of touch on is the fact that you had the entire starting infield in one of the games today, including right. Tucker, including Melton, including Cabbage. So that one lineup was pretty loaded. And I know Lou Perfido got the 2 hits, but it's a shame that the Astros didn't score any runs in that game. But if you're looking at some positives, you're going to see a lot of the regulars playing a little bit more often. And so that's a little bit change of what we've seen in the past. We just saw kind of the guys get trickled in from here and there.
So Eric, when Bennett Sosa got up, it was funny because they were interviewing Dana Brown during the game. And Dana Brown was like, we need Sosa to hit to like throw with velocity, but to control the ball. And when he said that, he had thrown a fourth pitch walk. He had thrown it. I mean, he had walked the guy. And I was like, oh, that was really bad timing audio wise. It wasn't planned out, obviously. But someone like that is a person who's looking to make it on this squad. You had Brown, Salza, you had Martinez, Mushinski, Serrero, Henley, and Vanway. Vanway, he gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 earned. He had a K. But I think the best outing, um, Parker Mashinsky basically went in 2 innings, 1 hit, and 3 strikeouts. And then Serrero came in with 3 strikeouts. So the Astros recorded 9 strikeouts to the Cardinals' 10 strikeouts.
Right.
And, here's the deal. In that game, Altuve and Bregman, when they hit the balls that they hit
In the
during a
first inning.
regular during the regular season, without that win from West Palm, those 2 baseballs find the seats in just about any park. They put the barrel on the ball. And here's what you have to remember watching spring training. And I didn't realize this until a few years ago because I had to educate myself. I would watch spring training. I would get frustrated when they would hit into outs. I would get frustrated when they wouldn't win, right? But it's not about the results. It's about what's happening, the action, and the ball hitting the bat the way it did, as solidly as it did. Those balls are going out of the ballpark with Altuve and Bregman. You could have had a back-to-back home run situation in a regular season game.
Yes. So I do want to, before we talk about tomorrow's game, because there's going to be a very big prospect on the mound for the Astros tomorrow, but I do want to bring up the fact that Forrest Whitley is looking to make this team. And Dana Brown went as far to get MLB to add an extra season of eligibility to stay with the Astros because of all the injuries and suspensions and everything. So the Astros are counting on Forrest Whitley. And he's all ready for camp. There's a little finger injury, and then he tries to warm up for the mound, and he can't because there is finger inflammation, and he will not throw a baseball for a week now. So he's going to be delayed at this point. So can he still get ready for opening day and still make the roster? Yes. Does he have to be on the opening day roster? No. He hasn't used any of his major league options yet. So he can go down AAA, but at some point, this is his last year. So if he doesn't make the Houston Astros this year, he's basically out of options at this point. So who's on the mound tomorrow for the Houston Astros?
Oh, hey, it is Mr. Spaghetti himself, Spencer Arrighetti, the Katy kid, the kid from Htown that grew up an Astros fan. This kid is living his dream. I love it. The local story. This dude can throw gas. I'm telling you, Kyle Dowdy, one of his trainers, told me he is ready to go. And he's going against Jack Flaherty and the Tigers. And so, we'll see what happens. We'll see what he does. He'll probably get a couple innings in, nothing more than 2 innings. But I anticipate to see him work the counts and work his stuff and see some swings and misses because Spencer Arrighetti definitely is one of these guys. And don't forget, there's another guy coming behind him named Colton Gordon. And there was a kid in the split squad game. His last name is Blue Ball, and I know he gets a lot of jokes about that. But let me tell you, this kid can throw the ball. I know he gave up a home run today, but he's got some stuff.
So a lot of people are like, okay, you want to put Alvarez batting second. So hopefully he plays in Monday's game. No, Joe Espada said that he's not going to actually play in a game until Tuesday. This is not because of any injury or anything. They're just waiting for him to just play on Tuesday. So don't expect Alvarez in the lineup batting second Monday, but he should be in the lineup, hopefully batting second on Tuesday. And wouldn't it be cool to see the actual top 4 in that batting order on Tuesday?
It would. And here is the thing. I wrote out today's the schedule Monday. Tuesday is the only televised game. That's the game where he's supposed to hit. So you got radio, for Monday's game, radio and TV for Tigers on Tuesday. Actually, it's not. Is it the Tigers on Tuesday? Did I put that right? I may have messed that up, but it is Zach Davies. That is not. That is not the. That is not actually. No, that's Washington. I'm sorry, it's the Nationals, folks. So Tuesday's game is
Yes.
the only game that they are going to televise. That is against Zach Davies and the Washington Nationals. I forgot to change the team. My bad. But one
No
game on
big deal.
TV, all three of them are on radio.
It's spring training, Brett. It's
There
spring
you go.
training for us all.
There you go. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. I need to get my reps in. Need to get my reps.
All right, so we didn't get a chance to actually use it, but we're gonna go ahead and show this at the end of the episode. So Brett, you want to go and do the little video?
Yeah. So I hope you like my new radio voice.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. Joe Espada, yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe. He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. Joe Espada. Yo, Joe.
All righty, guys. So that's all we got for this episode of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to us on YouTube. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And my name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. And go Stros.
Go Stros. Don't talk over the music.